Welcome everybody to Unicorn Light Tarot. Sincerely hope everybody is doing amazingly well today, this evening, whenever you click on this video. If you are brand new here, welcome. If you are returning, obviously welcome too. Today we are doing the upcoming week. It promises to be full of transformation. We have the Scorpio full moon, which is a pink supermoon, the first supermoon of 2021, which is coming in on Monday. So this is Monday, April 26th, going into the beginning of May the 2nd. So this will be your upcoming week. And we are working with the goddess Nyx today. We also had a previous reading where we worked with her, the wisdom of the House of Night. That is her oracle deck dedicated to her. I will list that reading down below if you want a little extra vavum, a little extra information to work with this beautiful goddess. Then feel free, if you have not already gone in, to check out that reading. Now, she's a very powerful goddess. She's a creation goddess, so she's akin to Mother Gaia. And she's so much power that even back in the day, Zeus feared her. So now she's definitely the ruler of everything psychic being brought up to the surface, subconscious bringing up. She's also the ruler of misfortunes and quarrels, even war and death. But we're not dealing with that today. What she is wonderful at, she deals with the darkness. Now, we all have to work with darkness in order to be able to understand the light within us. So this is a beautiful time to work with this goddess, as we have this intense full moon coming in, the super moon coming in Scorpio. So with this energy, a lot of transformation, as we mentioned, will be coming in. So we'll be able to get you some really interesting and beautiful messages for this week and what to expect. For those of you who are already feeling this energy of the supermoon coming in, some old stuff coming up, ready to be looked at a very deep way, even some illnesses coming up, some old illnesses, lots of things could be coming up right now for you. And if they're not, it doesn't mean that this full moon is not working with you, not at all. So so let's go in and get your messages. We have 3 piles as always. Now, more often than not, we put something on the piles to give you extra information, some sort of eye candy in order for you to be able to choose. But this is all about this super new moon, full moon, excuse me, this super full moon coming in. The super moon coming in is all about getting in touch with your intuition, excuse me, and believing and really honing in on your power. So and connecting your power and accepting all aspects of self. So I figure today, just leaving with your intuition, leaving them all blank, you will know which pile works for you. So as always, please take as much time as you possibly need. These readings are not a race in any way, stretch or form. So if you need to go ahead and pause the video, do that. We're going to take in a deep breath now to ground into our energy. And hold for a couple of seconds, and then we're going to let out. The more aligned and in focus you are with your own energy, the more these readings resonate. So, and this is intense energy that we're working with Goddess Nyx today. So let's ground into that energy. So all the timestamps will be down below if you go ahead and pause the video and take time to get it aligned with your energy, and take as much time as you need to focus in and figure out which pile is for you. So let's go ahead and move pile 2 and pile 3 aside. So if you chose pile 1, again, these are your messages for the upcoming week for April, Monday 26th to May the 2nd, with the pink supermoon coming in on the Monday 26th. And if you haven't been here before, we always dress the candle that we have in each reading with beautiful magic oil that brings in abundance and healing. So you can use these readings for activation, for information, for healing, whatever it is that you want. So an extra level of beauty and healing is available for you here. So let's get right into your reading. So we have 2 tarot, and then we are working with the wisdom of the House of Night here, which is the goddess Nyx directly. And of course we have our moon card here. So let's go ahead and start in with So you have the King of Swords, and then you have the Seven of Swords reversed. So let's see what we have here. And then Seven of Swords. Now I'm actually going to turn these over because this is about message, and here we go. Message 45 here. Confidence is the key to your success, and we have Leo energy here. So this week, what you will be working with, Pile 1, is getting back on track with your success, getting back on track with your power. There's a calling for you to call in the divine masculine and have that power connected to you with that action and moving forward in the way that you want. There's this dichotomy that you've had before, Pile 1, where you've been working within your power, but you've been working with it in sort of different ways, which is a wonderful way of doing it. There's no wrong or right way, especially when it comes to your own power. You do whatever you need to do. But it's you've been working with it sort of going into different aspects like childhood or this or that, and really sort of raking up the old. And that's a very powerful thing to do. And it's not for the faint-hearted. It takes a lot of courage. What you're being asked to do this week is to bring it all together so you have this sort of sense of fruition moving forward. You've been working on sort of fragmented parts of yourself, and the way in which you've been working is really quite wonderful because you've been able to go deep in each in each form every time you go in there to work with aspects of yourself. But this is about the collective now. This is about the collective moving forward. This is about putting all of your hard work and acceptance together and moving forward with confidence and with action. This is about, and this seems to be the theme, especially in the last month, this is about putting together all the healing that you've done and moving forward and integrating back into the world. This is about taking your hopes and dreams and putting them center stage. This is about saying to yourself, I've done enough healing now. I mean, as humans, we always want to be, well, not always, but most of us, well, not even some of us, people who want to do better, sometimes fall into this trap, myself included, where we're constantly wanting to be better, we're constantly wanting to learn, we're constantly wanting to move forward. Now, intrinsically, there's nothing wrong with that. That's absolutely wonderful. But what we tend to do sometimes is sort of shut down our life just a little bit so we can concentrate on what we feel needs to be healed before we move forward, with the understanding that if we heal this part of ourselves, then we will be more together as we move forward and we'll be able to attract a little bit more of what we want. Now, that's sound understanding, that's sort of sound healing advice in some ways, but what you're being asked to do this week, and we hope that you do it, is just have the confidence in everything that you've moved forward with already. Have the confidence with everything that you've done. And it's not about the understanding, we're totally understanding that as you move forward in this world, like, the work is never really done. You're always working on something, you're always researching, you're always renewing in some ways, absolutely. But there is a time when we say, all right, it's time to integrate into the world. It's time to do this. And this is your time to do that. There's still healing that can be done, but it will be done throughout your life. And again, really want to bring everybody back to this idea of healing. When we say that we want to heal, what we're saying is there's something wrong and we need to correct it, right? So we want to focus on how we see. That's not to say that there's certain elements of ourselves that need not even a little bit of work, but the way I see it is it needs some light, it needs some full acceptance. If we come in it as the way of that we're already whole, but there's certain aspects of ourselves that that needs some acceptance, needs a lot more light, and maybe be brought in to the whole feeling of who we are, so we can become a complete version of ourselves. But we're already complete at the moment. So whatever it is that you've done, whatever healing that you've done, whatever it is that you've extracted, whatever you've gone into sort of the dark night of the soul, or you've gone down that sort of rabbit hole in order to heal. And when we say the rabbit hole is because, when you go down there, there's a little bit more to do and a little bit more to do. And you've done a lot of that work now. The rest of the work, so the way that I'm being shown is that it's an iceberg, and you've gone underneath sea level, and you've done so much work there to give yourself that really firm foundation. So what you're being asked to do is to go in and really integrate and be action filled, integrate back into your life, and whatever is seen above sea level will heal by the act of action moving forward. So sometimes what you've done, Pile One, is that, you know, some of your hopes and dreams have been put to the side a little bit because you're like, let me work on this a little bit more. Let me work on this a little bit more, and then I'll be ready with that. Now, that's something that we intrinsically do as humans. I feel as though that's pretty normal part of sort of the healing process, as it were. But what we want to remind you is, again, you've done a lot of the work on the underbelly, as it were. And, you know, for instance, for some of you very specifically, if you're thinking about being ready to open your heart into another relationship, you know, you don't have to be completely 100% ready in order to get into that relationship. Very often we want to be completely ready, or to be seen as completely ready. So when we attract whatever it is in our lives, you know, everything's hunky-dory, everything's wonderful. We want to remind you that everything is wonderful and everything is playing out the way it's supposed to. But really, at the end of the day, a lot of this healing can be done in community. A lot of this healing can be done with your significant other. You don't need to do absolutely all of it by yourself. So your main message this week, your transformational element, is taking what you've learned about yourself and applying it and integrating it back into the world. And just allowing yourself to be really completely open, to put your hopes and your dreams at the forefront, and use that divine masculine energy in any way that you can to provide that action to move forward. Now, use that intuitive action that you have too. Use the intuitive source of how to move forward with those baby steps, without a shadow of a doubt. Work in tandem with your divine masculine, your divine feminine. But now you're being asked to really apply the divine masculine and feminine in this balanced way, and understand that that people want to help you, that the universe wants to help you, that significant other, if you've not met them already, can come in and help you. And all of that remaining healing can be done with another, can be done through community, can be done with others. So we understand that you've wanted to do some of it on your own, and highly commend that. And because you've done that, you're absolutely ready for this really intense sort of transformational healing that happens in the world. We want to remind you, as a human, you've come here to connect. Now, some of you have pulled yourself out of circulation a little bit because you weren't connecting in the way that you wanted to, and you realized that certain aspects of you needed to be worked through. Again, we're working with the word healing in a sort of in a different way, approaching it a little bit differently. But again, we want to remind you, you've done that work now. This transformation is coming in for you. And as everything comes up, we're reminding you that the supermoon that you can work with Scorpio, which is a very independent, fixed sign and tends to want to do things on the back burner too, absolutely, has more of an observational sort of feel to it, and delving deep, absolutely. But this energy is going to help you move everything that you've done under those terms, under that umbrella, sort of on the outskirts, done in private, but deep excavation. It's going to take that energy that you have and it's going to bring it to the forefront, where you can say, oh my goodness, yes, let's integrate the light, let's move forward. This is really what I want. I'm going to go for it. So this would be the week to really put down some roots and say, this is really what I want. And I'm going to take baby steps to get them. Now, it doesn't have to be a full action week. We don't want to overwhelm you, because you're going from sort of one state to another. But this is definitely working with your intuitions and taking baby steps and being very clear about what it is that you want, and taking steps, making that phone call, reaching out to that one person, saying to the universe, writing down, scripting would be wonderful for you this week. You know, writing down, scripting what it is that you want, and write down 3 things that you can do to go get it and work on the first one. Again, they can be baby steps in getting you what you want, and that's totally fine. The baby steps will put you in line with that path, and the rest will take care of itself as you move in with the more action behind it. So let's see what other energy that you have coming in here too. So this is really a combination of all the work that you've already done, sort of all the work that's not obvious maybe to others, but obvious to yourself. And don't be surprised when you step out to the limelight, when you step out into the light and people are saying to you, oh my goodness, you look different, you feel different. Absolutely. You've been doing a lot of this work sort of on your own terms, and that's absolutely wonderful. You're just being called to pull it in just a little bit and allow that help from the universe. Allow that moon energy to really move you in the area of action this week. So, and most of you know what you want. Most of you know your hopes and dreams moving forward. And for those of you who don't, there will be a lot of transformational energy in and around you that will provide that clarity for you. And it will be easier for you to recognize that clarity once you come out of, not even for some of you, a little bit of the haze of doing the work yourself. And again, integrating with other people. And depending on where you are and what's going on in the world, there's a myriad of different ways, online groups, just reaching out in ways and just putting yourself out there a little bit. If you member of a couple of online groups, actually post in them, or if you just put yourself out there just a little bit. You're being asked to do just baby steps, and the rest of it will be absolutely wonderful. Like the energy that you will be pulling in just by putting yourself out there with baby steps. Let's see what we have here. Yeah, throat chakra, and it's in reverse. We're going to turn it up for you here. The frequency of the throat chakra, the blue flower of life, supports our self-expression and our sense of peace and balance. Absolutely. Sorry, let's bring it in so you can actually see it. So what's going on is that you've done so much work sort of on the outskirts of life one way or another, that you're being called to actually put your energy back into the world, put your truth, speak up, speak what you want into the world. Again, those baby steps of taking physical action and what you want. And this is a reintegration for you back into the world. This is a way for you to connect on a different level, because the last time you connected, there was still energy that needed to be integrated, let's put it that way. And this energy has been integrated, but the last form of real integration and the last form of claiming your intense and beautiful transformation is for you to get out there. So we turned the throat chakra back right up, because that's the way that you were before. You're very talented, you're beautiful, you're very sensitive, you have this gorgeous open heart, this beauty, and the world needs more of you. Now, you weren't feeling up to it before. If you weren't, that's fine, but you are strong enough and you are courageous enough to be able to go out there and, again, just baby steps to reconnect with your life in a brand new way. So this can be a very, very exciting week for you. Draw on the energy of the full moon this week. It's coming in right at the beginning of the week. If you click on this video today at the beginning of the week, it's coming in on Monday, on the 26th. When this reading begins at the beginning of the week. So this is your reading for you to step into that energy and step into that full power, and for you to prove yourself to yourself. You don't need to prove yourself to anyone else, but how powerful and how much courage you have, because sometimes we can lose sight of how much power and courage we have when we do things sort of on the outskirts, sort of on the external. So when we're integrated back into the world, we can see how much power we really have, how much work we've really done, just by the way people react to our energies. Again, all you have to do is take that little bit of action, move forward with those baby steps of intention, and the rest of it will open up to you. You'll be very surprised at the energy, the connection that's offered to you this week. And moving forward in a very particular way in order for you to take some tangible steps toward what it is that you want. Again, scripting can be really great for you to write it down. Any way that you can get energy out of your head and out of your throat chakra into the actual world, so you can start manifesting your destiny. So let's take one more magic making card here. And let's see what we have for you. Magic making pile 1. The festival creates an energetic blueprint for a fantastic party or event. Absolutely. What did we just say, pile 1? Now, if you want to go to the party or event, festival energy, that's great. We're saying start off the beginning of the week with baby steps, but that's absolutely wonderful. This is a card of connection. That's bringing in all of the work that you've done for fruition, so you can absolutely see and understand the work that you've done and the power behind it. Again, all connection coming in, all of this energy around the energy of others and the energy of the world. So enjoy this week, Pile 1. Enjoy getting out there. Again, very much on your own terms. You don't need to push yourself. Work with your intuition. Really put out there in tangible steps what it is that you want to achieve. Or for most of you, you already know what it is. And really put your hopes and dreams forefront this week. And get them out of your throat chakra, get them out on the page, get them out into the universe. Tell people to a certain degree what it is that you're looking to achieve. You know, it's okay to keep some of it, you know, sort of close to your heart, but share aspects of yourself that you feel you're ready to share. And this will bring you to the next level of healing. This is going to be a wonderful week for you. So we are sending so much love and light to you, Pile 1. Remember, you can check in with the wisdom of the House of Light. We have that reading, that oracle reading down below. Click on that link if you want a little extra energy for the goddess Nyx here that we have been working with. So we want to thank her. We want to thank this super full moon in Scorpio coming in, because it is full of transformation. It is a lot of extra energy coming up, but it is going to be a very, very powerful one. So you take care. Have a beautiful, wonderful week. And until we meet again, stay safe and sane, Pile 1. Bye-bye. Okay, beautiful Pile 2s. This is your pile if you picked Pile 2. Again, we are working with our beautiful goddess Nyx here, the goddess of the night. And we are working with April the 26th, which is the week of April 26th to May 2nd, with our beautiful super full moon, the first super moon of 2021 coming in on Monday. Do not forget, we have our extra healing candle here for extra light and love and wisdom. Let's get right into your energy here. We have the King of Cups. Wonderful. And we have the Four of Swords. Okay, so I'm going to put all of these down here. Obedience, because this reading for this week is all about the objective, taking in all of the energy. A fiery climax approaches. Okay, so Pile 2. This is what we've got for you here. These are the message that we've got for you here for this week. This is going to be a great week for you. This is the message that I'm getting for you very, very, very strongly. And it's all coming into the cards. And in fact, I want to show you a little storyboarding that we have here. Okay. All right. Okay, so I'm changing these around because I want you to see how this has gone around. So the way in which these cards are working, the way in which this message is being expressed to me is that certain aspects of yourself you have dumbed down just a little bit in order to... Now, the card obedience doesn't really express what's going on here. There's nothing about you that really wants to be obedient. In fact, there's a part of you, there's an aspect of you that wants to rise up and pull down everything that doesn't work. So the obedience isn't quite accurate, but what the energy around it is, you have dumbed down certain parts of you, certain aspects of your voice too, even your opinion at times, not necessarily in order to fit in, but in order to keep your life a little bit status quo, so you can work your magic in other ways for you to figure out or refigurate some things that you needed to figure out. Now, in some ways you have something in common with Pile 1. Because you've been doing a lot of your healing sort of on the outskirts. And as you've been doing that, you've been getting stronger on your own terms. But here's what's happened. As certain aspects of you have been, for want of a better word, we're just doing a little bit of real talk just for you to get a very clear idea of what we're talking about here, has been denied is the word. I'm hearing certain aspects of you, certain aspects of your voice. There's been some sort of illness that might have come up with you. And, you know, certain aspects of you, even with sort of, depends, it could be anything with stomach problems. For some of you, it could be a lot of like first, second, and third chakra things that would be associated with that. So it could be womb, creativity, it could be digestion, it could even be gums in a way, because that's your root system too in making decisions. So it could be that. And this is something that you may or may not have suffered with one way or another at a certain level. This is energy that's come in and can be stuck there a little bit also. Now, what's happening this week is that all of this is coming to the forefront with the super moon that's coming in really at the subconscious, bringing everything up. Now, you've been working on this. You've been working on it and peeling away the layers here of the onion, absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. It's not that you've not been working on it. And again, we want to be really clear. The obedience isn't quite it. Remember, I mean, if you look at this, she has a sword here. And she has the scales of justice. I mean, there's nothing about this particular energy or this image that's in any way sort of not worthy of your attention. You know, she definitely is standing there with an aura of authenticity and authority, and that's what you have. So you've dumbed down some of that, but you've done this your own way in order to heal, and in order to heal on your own terms. And some of it is that you wanted to heal on your own terms because you've taken different aspects of healing from what other people have said and put it all together for yourself. There's not one version of things that work for you. And this was a really easy way for you to sort of go underground a little bit and be in control, if that's just a word. Again, for clarity, it's not really about control here, but to be in control of your own healing on your own terms. You've always done everything on your own terms. And this is a beautiful thing about you. Now, all of those parts of yourself that have been denied, it's not denied necessarily, we said denied, but that's a little bit too much. Initially they were denied, but you've been working on them. So they've been stuffed down a little bit. They're coming up, and they come out in different ways with you, pal, too. They definitely come out. You've got that fire, you've got that passion, and when you do, not even lash out, but when you do give it all, you really do, and people listen. You've got a lot of power. Now, integrating that power so you can come back out into the world, and again, you have this in common with Pal 1. With this masculine energy coming in, but this real masculine energy of wisdom. You know what it is that you speak of, because you've done this work, and you've done this work on your own terms, and you've done this work by gathering information from everywhere. So you trust that information because it's worthy of you. This information is worthy of you. You've tried and tested this information that's come in. You haven't just picked up one book and said, that's it. This is the way I'm doing it for the rest of my life. You picked different aspects of it, even aspects of the Bible, even aspects of angels, this, that, and the other. I mean, you could actually make a book of healing and put in everything that worked for you, and it would work for others. But this is the way that you were in control. This is the way that you could do things on your own terms. A lot of energy bombarded you for a lot of you growing up. This is the one way you do it. This is the one way that you do it. You know, it could be religious energy. You do this, you accept it this way. And your soul was like, hell no. No, I'm not doing that. So you went out of your way to make sure that you did the opposite in this world and did the healing on your own terms and bring in different aspects that work. And in my opinion, not that you want it, but that's a really wonderful way of doing it too, because every aspect of something has some element of truth. If you can take it out and apply it to your own life, that's a wonderful way of doing it. For some people, it's a little bit hodgepodge of doing it and outside of the realm of normalcy, and that's fine. It wouldn't work for them. You know, they want to choose one way and they want to be in a linear fashion. This is the only way to do it. That's fine. If it works for them, that's great. That's not going to work for you. So you've got this intense power, and you're ready to integrate it just like Pal 1. Now, if you feel like you want to go back and check out Pal 1, feel free to do that. You don't need to. Again, it's a different energy. It's very different energy, but there's aspects of your personality in the real world, and in this week coming up, you would definitely be besties, definitely be best friends. Whoever chose Pal 1 chose Pal 2. You're sort of, what's that saying? You are cut from the same cloth, I think it is. So what's happened is in the past is that fire energy has come up, and sometimes it's come up in inopportune times, but that person needed to hear it, that situation needed it, right? And no one else was going to say it. But this is time for full integration coming in at the beginning of this week, especially with this full moon, this super full moon. This is a really interesting week for you, pal, too, because all of those outbursts that you've had before, and nothing wrong with them, again, the way in which you did it might have shocked people a little bit, but it also needed to be said. Nobody could be like, oh, well, I don't know what she's talking about, she's crazy. They were all like, the action behind it might be a little bit crazy. This is, people just coming in with their own opinions, but I kind of agree with what she said. She's not coming from nowhere, or they're not coming from nowhere. So this action this week of really getting back in touch with and resonating and vibrating with your own voice and your own truth, integrating it back into the world, is really huge. And what happens when you do that is that all these little ailments that came up are ready to sort of really engage in a brand new way, and this energy that was behind them can be released. So these are trapped energies that have come in. If you've had like digestion problems or womb problem, a lot of you might have in that creative third chakra too. The other thing that's been happening too, that we often do this, and we're not going to go too much about this in this reading, but for those of you who have suffered trauma, so much heartfelt love being sent to you, totally understand where you're coming from. Trust me, you really do. But really what happens when you have a certain amount of trauma, you have any kind of trauma, especially when you're younger, the first three chakras sometimes aren't as, how do we say it? They definitely need grounding, and we usually work, from those of us who've had chakra, we usually work from the heart chakra onwards. So what's happening is a really firm clear out of the first three chakras. Not that you've not worked on them. You absolutely have. And you understand your connection to grounding. You've worked with that, again, on your own terms. But there's going to be, or there has been, so if this is resonating with you already, pal, too, you already know this energy that's coming in. The first three chakras for you are being cleared out at a really, really beautiful level. And that voice that you that was there, that came out at these fiery climaxes at certain times in your life, is getting ready to integrate fully, and you're getting ready to be the full force of who you are. So some of this old stuff might be coming up for you, some of this old trauma. We want to be really clear about this. It's not coming up for you. It's coming up for you in a very specific way to heal the physical aspects of it that it created. And these physical aspects, in your body, were there to show you where it lived. That's it. So, and obviously we're not a doctor, we're not doing that, do whatever you need to do to make yourself whole, and absolutely, and, take care of it. And those of you who are resonating with this obviously would have done that already. We're trusting that you would have. But energy is definitely still not stuck there, but it's there for a reason to show you, because you were very, very busy working on other aspects of yourself. A lot of you were busy working on the heart chakra and this, that, and the other. And again, working from the heart chakra onwards. And when we get into the spiritual realm and working within healing and working sort of the spiritual path, we very often, we do work with the first three chakras, of course we do, but some of them, sometimes we work with the upper chakras a little bit more. You're being called to the first three chakras this week. And again, clearing out these first three chakras in a really beautiful way. Now, this action would not be able to take place if you had not done the work to be able to get to peeling parts of the onion off. You're getting to the crux of what's in the middle. So this week is going to be intense for old stuff coming up. We want to remind you that you've done the work. You don't need to get into the energy of healing. What you are being asked to do specifically, though, is to really feel into where that energy exists physically in your body, and make peace with that energy and accept all of it to move forward. You're also being asked to integrate that fiery passion and that beauty that you have on a very active level from the first to the third chakras, presenting this really grounded, firm foundation that you will have from this week onwards to manifest the life that you want. So it's active energy. Again, same with pile 1, active energy, but active energy specifically in the first 3 chakras. So if you're feeling a little spacey, if you're feeling a little not connected or a little bit out of your body, all right, if you are feeling this way, that's because the first and the third, first, second, and third chakras are asking to have your undivided attention this week and to work with them so you can ground and make that foundation as clear and as defined as possible. Now, that's not to say that that foundation, once you make it, it won't allow for any other movement. This is not about inflexibility. You're very, very flexible, and you're willing to work with any aspect of self. If anything, you're so flexible. You've been I'm going to work on this and I'm going to work on that. This week is about a combination of bringing in all those energies and pulling it into the first, second, and third chakra, creating that really, really firm foundation for you. Let's get you a little bit more information here. But this is going to be a very transformative. This came out, heart chakra. I'm going to put that back in because, yes, the heart chakra is very important, and we talked about that. And that's where all this energy is emanating from. And the ironic thing is that you've put a lot of energy into working with the heart chakra recently, working with the first 3 chakras, first, second, and third chakra. There is going to be a real activation in the third chakra, which activates the heart chakra this week too. So I'm not surprised this card came up. It's going to be a really profound week for you, and you're going to feel very different in your own body. This is an essence of feeling. You see, when you were working on yourself, just a little, the way in which you did that, doing a little bit of work, or really deep work here and really deep work here, rooting all of that work in that first, second, and third chakra pulls your energy in, and you'll be able to really inhabit your body properly. A lot of you are very earthy, but you may not be as grounded as you could be. You need to come back physically into your body. I'm getting the vision of you coming back physically into your body, and what you do is that you push these little ailments, or these ailments that you've had out, because you need to come fully back into your body. These ailments, little ailments that have been coming up, or these ailments that have been coming up for you, and some of them could be somewhat long term. Again, reminding you of where that energy is and what needs to be served, bringing you back to that energy. And a lot of the ailments that you have will be in your first chakra. It could be sciatica stuff. It could be lower back stuff. It could be womb stuff with your creativity. It could be a lot of different things there. Because it's reminding you that it's not that you've not been working on that or it needs work. It's reminding you that we need all of your energy back to inhabit your body. Once your energy is back inhabiting 100%, 150% of your body, it will push those elements out, because you'll be aware of the energy that you need to work on there. You'll be aware of the energy that needs to be fully integrated there. You've been working on it, but fully integrated there. And if you're fully inhabiting your body, there will be no more room for those elements, if that makes sense. So you're being called to those 3 chakras. Again, you've done the work. It's just calling your energy in. You've got that fire, you've got that passion, you've got that courage. You've done the work. This is you pulling in for a very, very practical, firm foundation for you to move forward and to inhabit your body fully. Again, for those of us who have been through trauma, certain aspects of us sort of leave, calling back all of those aspects, and it's very easy for us not to be as grounded anymore, because a part of our essence, our spirit, sort of leaves our body. And sometimes, parts of our power, energy have been taken in the trauma, and sometimes we've given it away as part of our survival mechanism. So it's claiming all of those back now, and being in your body is going to feel different. You're going to feel so much more grounded. You're going to feel so much more powerful. You do feel powerful. You can sense your power. You know your power, but it doesn't always stay with you. You can have days where you feel very powerful and days where you don't. And you can feel very powerful, and then something happens and you can doubt yourself. So this is a way for you to have that firm foundation, feel that power, and it stays with you. It's your power. It should stay with you. Divine Feminine. Yes. Oh, look at those colors. Gorgeous. The frequency of Divine Feminine supports our receptive, nurturing, and soft side, allowing it to express itself openly, yes, and helping us to connect to our intrinsic understanding of our connection and all of creation. Again, this fiery way that, you know, communicated before, coming into communication where, again, we want to be really clear that that situation needed that. That's fine. There's, trust me, no one here is judging. Everybody needed to hear that. But there is a way of connecting with that divine masculine, divine feminine, of having that energy all the time and not needing to get to the point of boiling before you, you know, just coming back, your bringing back that energy and having that balance of being able to speak your truth at all times and know that it will be heard and know that it is needed, and not sort of coming out in spurts of fiery spurts, and being able to use that passion that you have, and be able to create that passion and have it integrated solely. Sometimes you have these really passionate times and you know what you're doing, yeah, and sometimes some of you can be a little lower, you know, not, you know, bordering on depression, or I'm confused, I'm lost, I don't know what I'm doing, or I'm feeling a little doubtful or hopelessness. This way of integrating your soul will level everything out. You'll have the divine masculine, divine feminine. You'll have the area of intuition of moving forward. You'll know, you know, you'll feel completely in your body. You'll have that grounding. You'll know intrinsically when to step up, and still have that element of fire and desire. That's just going to be integrated in a new way. It's not going to be used in spurts. Sort of as reserve. We need this power now. Let's bring in this really intense, beautiful, passionate power. It's already integrated. Let's just work through it and work with it at all times, you know, so it doesn't have to leave you at any time. So this is what's happening for you. Feel free to work with the full moon. And of course, we have the wisdom of the house of night. We are working with our beautiful goddess Nyx today. If you have not, I'm going to link it down below. If you have not gone in and immersed yourself in that reading, you might get a little of extra energy. When we do these readings at the end of the week, whatever comes at the beginning of the week, especially the reading before, is supposed to be sort of a part two in a way. So if you feel called to, always listen to your intuition. And of course it goes with how much time you have and energy and all of that. But if you feel called to and you haven't gone to that reading yet, I suggest you do. Because you might find just a little more information, a little bit more support there for moving through the week. So to recap, this is a really important week for you for transformation. Everything that you've done on the outskirts will be coming in, working with the first to the third chakras, really pulling in all of your power and energy. Again, the divine masculine and feminine coming in to integrate your passion fully in a way that you feel connected to yourself, to your body. We are here to have a spiritual life, should we choose to have one, but we're also here to have a very, very human existence. Messy, beautiful, in love, embarrassing, ugly crying, joyous, gorgeous life, and to be fully grounded into it. So that's what we want for you this week. That is available for you this week. So we want for you to have that. You've worked very hard for this. So this is definitely available for you this week. We have Making Magic. Let's see. One last card for you this week. Pile 2. What will it be? Oh, wow. Power symbol to create lucky, serendipitous events. Absolutely. This is your power this week, coming into full spectrum of power. Now, you've had the full spectrum of power, but you've used it in a very sort of like funky way in a way. This is a way for you to pull it in and integrate it to maximum level. So it stays with you all the time. And again, your power never leaves you. You don't have to call on your power. You don't have to call on your courage. It's just there. Very magical week ahead of you. A very beautiful week. Now, again, if anything comes up from the past for that will go in, it's to cleanse out the first, second, and third chakra. So honor the energy coming up, but don't get involved in it. You've done all this work already. Even if it's coming up in physical form. Of course, if it's coming up in real physical form, do what you need to do. But all of this is coming up for your attention on this level also. So it's important that you take note of it, but it's also that you go into the week for full integration that's available for you to have that magical life. And to really, this is really about securing that powerful, beautiful side and really integrating that passion that you have in a new way. Again, pulling all your energy back into your body and really encompassing and taking up the first three chakras. All that energy needs to be back into your first three chakras. Take it up, fill it up. It's yours to fill up, absolutely. And watch for that heart chakra opening up this week too. This is wonderful. If you do candle magic or any kind of sort of ceremony or ritual, you can absolutely honor yourself, celebrate yourself on this super moon on Monday, because the universe wants you to do that. Celebrate all that you've been through and all that you are right now, absolutely. And the rest of it will take care of itself. So we hope this resonated with you, Pal 2. So much love and light, seriously, for this week. So much power and beauty coming to you. Really excited for you. Take care, drink lots of water this week, and look after your energy for sure. Until we meet again, stay safe and sane. Bye-bye. Okay, all you lovely Pile 3s, if you chose this pile, these are your messages for April, Monday the 26th to May the 2nd, with our pink supermoon, first supermoon of 2021 coming in on Monday. Again, we are working with the goddess Nyx. She is the goddess of the night. Akin to Gaia. Very powerful readings that we've had for pile 1 and 2. And always, let's not forget, we have extra activation, extra healing with our magic candle here. And let's go with your reading. So the way I've been reading this is with everything coming in, because this is about objectivity for your week. So we're just going to pull all the cards out at the same time. We have the 9 of Swords. Here is your first card. Sorry, let's pull it down so you can actually see it. And then we have the 2 of Cups, which is reversed. We have the High Priestess of Earth, number 3 here. And then we have Don't Let Pride Get in Your Way, full moon in Leo. Full moon. All right, so a few things here. So, you know, never surprised that even though there's different energy in each pile, it's like a red thread that goes around it. And of course, we're pulling in, we're also working, obviously we're working with our goddess Nyx, but we're also working with the energy of what's going on in the cosmos right now, the collective energy. So there's very similar energy, very similar message, very different vibes, very different energy, but similar messages to pile 1 and 2. So there's a few different things going on in pile 3 for you. The first message that I'm picking up is those of you who are healing from energy of past loves. Now, these could be past loves that are way past. This is just energy that's sort of coming up for you again, for you to make ultimate peace with and release, or this could be something that's just recently happened. It's a sort of, now, the way I'm seeing is where I'm being told it's a betrayal, or that's the way that you see it. But this is the way that it could be. It doesn't mean a physical betrayal, that that person necessarily sort of cheated on you or this, that, and the other. But it's a betrayal because what happens with you, pile 3, is that you give all of your energy. You're absolutely beautiful. I mean, for some of you, there's been an essence of where somebody else begins and you start. You're very open. You're very beautiful. Some of you are open to a certain extent, but you know, you can be guarded. But when it comes to somebody that you care about, you'll give them the shirt off your back. And what you've done is that you've given so much energy to people in relationships, and because they've needed extra energy, you were happy to supply it, but then you were left sort of depleted in some ways, this way or another. Now, you may have done this with intimate relationships, you may have done this with family, or maybe you protected yourself from family, but you've done it with other members that you consider family. So you've done it with friends, you've done it with others. It's a way that you've worked in the world whereby it's almost, this is just real talk, I'm just putting it out there. It's almost like a martyrdom, but it's absolutely beautiful. You absolutely want everybody to be okay, to the point where you want everybody to be okay so much that you see their limitations, what they'll be able to achieve in this mindset at this time, and then you lend them your energy. So what this means is that you attract takers, and you have done in the past. So a lot of this theme is coming up for you this week, for you to reevaluate all of this. Now, you've worked on this yourself. You've worked on how sensitive you are and how much you give to others. You've been pulling back your power. You've been really rooting in your power, and you've been working on this. So these are echoes that are coming up for you this week, but this is a chance for you to really let go of some of the echoes of the past here, and really ground into your own energy. This need to be seen. This need to be validated. Again, this is just real talk, pile 3. This need to be seen. This need to be validated from the external. Now, it's very specific, the sort of people that you want to be in and around. It's a replaying of the old. For some of you, or for a lot of you maybe, you weren't seen for who you were very early on. And so what you've done is you've chosen people who have very similar sort of attributes to the people who didn't see you for who you were early on. And you try to give them your energy. You try to help them. You see, in your grown-up self, you can see that these people that you're attracting, or that you've attracted in the past, that are very similar, have very similar traits, or very similar energies, or very sort of path patterns as the people who did not accept you, or not even accept you, did not see you for who you were at the beginning. If you can help these people, if you can prove yourself to this person, then it'll make the beginning part okay. It'll be okay that you weren't seen for who you were at the beginning. So there's an element of this that's coming up for you this week, and there's an element of this that you can absolutely let go once and for all, and move into not needing to do that anymore. Also, anytime that you've given your energy to the past in relationships, and they've taken the energy and run with it, and they haven't given you the acceptance that you needed, or the viewpoint that you needed, or what you needed from them, because you lent them or you gave them your energy. So there's a sense of betrayal there. But here's the thing. You've learned from that. You've learned that when you gave that energy, it was because you wanted something back. Again, real talk, pile 3. You wanted something back. You wanted to be seen by them. And at the very least, you wanted to be accepted by them. Now, there's nothing intrinsically wrong with this. We all want to be accepted. That's perfectly reasonable. And actually, the way in which you did it was very smart in many ways, because for most of you, you're not able to go back to the original source and work through that, or you don't want to go back to the original source to work through that. For some of you, I'm hearing it might even be dangerous to go back to the original source and work through that not being seen with them. It's not healthy for you to do that. So by choosing these people that were in and around you, again, they may look completely different. They may have a completely different employment situation, but there's an energy to them that would be very similar, although not immediately obvious, but similar to the people that you were trying to, that should have been there for you, that should have protected you, that should have seen you, that should have accepted you. So you were able to pull these people in order to work through this. And it's something that you needed to work through. And again, we want to be very clear, was not in your best interest for a lot of you to go back and work through, or you were not able to work through with the original people. So it's understandable that you pulled in people that, again, had the same kind of energy. But again, you might have been disappointed by that, and you might have been pulled into, like, why is this happening? Or, why am I feeling very disappointed? Or when you came to cut the boundary, I've got to cut them out of my life. I can't do this. Why does it hurt so much? It shouldn't hurt this much. I have other friends. I've got other things going on in my life. I know I need to do this. That's the reason why it hurts so much. You were cutting that bond, not with them, but with the original bond, with the original hurt that you accumulated earlier in life. So some of this might be coming up for you, but it's only, you've done work on this. You've absolutely done work on this. But this might be coming up for you in a way, particularly at the beginning of the week, as we culminate with the full moon, for you to release it in a very, very particular way. For you to see yourself outside of the need to be accepted by anyone else, outside of the need to be validated in the external world. This is a way for you, again, and in this way you have so much in common with pile 1 and pile 2. And as we said, this is not surprised at all, for you to ground into your energy and again start doing things completely on your own terms. This is a promise of a new beginning for you, should you want to step up and take it, pile 3, because this is a way for you to do things completely on your own, on your own terms. Now, let's be honest, again, real talk, pile 3, there is a stubborn element to you. You want to do things your own way. You're actually extremely open. And you'll try different things on, and you don't like to be sort of put into one space or labeled under one thing. That sort of freaks you out. But at the same time, at times you can be extremely stubborn and extremely inflexible. But there's a reason why you did that, because people projected upon you at certain points, and the way in which you dug your heels down at the beginning was a survival mechanism for you at the beginning. So there's a twinge of inflexibility, there's a twinge of that pride, there's a twinge of I'm not doing it that way, I'm going to do it my own way. And that's the way that you could stand up in your environment before. That's the way that you could claim your individuality before. That's the way that you could stand out before. So it was important for you. And that's what you did in the survival mode. You still have remnants of that. You still have that stubbornness, and it's very funny in a way, because you're extremely open in some ways, but you've got this incredible stubborn streak. And we're not asking you to do anything with it. That's just who you are. We're asking you to sort of open up that stubborn streak this week. You have the chance to do that and integrate all that knowledge within the stubborn streak of why you were stubborn before, why you needed to be stubborn. We want to be very clear. You needed to be stubborn. That's the way it was coming out of survival elements, but you had to be that stubborn. That was the way that you actually put your 2 feet into the ground and went, this is me. I'm doing it this way. No. And for some of you, it could have been a way that you actually got attention. So either way, it was necessary for you to step up and do that. Now, that stubborn streak is really funny. You're never going to lose that, but there's a way of pulling it open and really letting it fall away, and really getting to the crux of it, pile 3, this week. And working with that stubbornness in a new way. You don't need to have that prideful, put your feet into the ground, I'm not budging, I'm not doing. And some of you did that out of, I'm not budging, I'm not moving, because that was a survival mechanism, because if you just stayed there, nobody would see you and you would be safe. So we're sending so much love and light to you, for those of you who have been through all of that caused you into those situations, that caused you to have that stubbornness. It was a feat of survival. So, and the betrayal of, the way in which you've worked with your stubbornness, the way in which, not the betrayal, the betrayal and way in which you've given your energy away in order to get something back, the way in which you've worked with your stubbornness specifically, again, these are all out of survival mechanisms, are coming up for you now. Again, we want to reiterate, we want to remind you, you've done the work. This is not coming up for healing. This is coming up to shed some light on these patterns of behavior that are now coming up for you to shed completely. So you can come into your aspect, your beauty of the earth, of your power, and doing this on your own terms. Now, these are echoes, as we said at the beginning. A lot of these people, a lot of these relationships don't exist in your life anymore. Some of them were painful. You had to have boundaries and you had to say no. And it wouldn't have been easy for you. You had to learn the boundary thing. You had to learn how to do it. But by God, when you learn how to do it, you did it. And it may have been painful, because why is this so painful for me, to put this boundary up? This person's been treating me X, Y, and Z. It should be easy for me. I shouldn't have any guilt. I shouldn't still want to be around them. But again, you already figured out that they were mirroring something that the original pain that you were hurting from. So all of the betrayal, of not being seen, even though you invested energy into it, might be coming up for you this week. But again, the main thing that's happening is that you're grounding into your own power, and it's really funny. Just got this, never had this before, just got this sort of, this, like the flipping off, like, F you, I don't need this. I don't need you to validate me. This is the energy of bringing it in. This is the acceptance of doing it on my own terms. And also the real true understanding of the original situation that caused this. Those people were not in a position to do to give you what you needed. Now, again, we want to be really clear. We're not excusing anything that happened. And, depending on what level and what happened there, we're not saying that, this is all love and light. Everything happens for a reason. I can't stand it when that spirituality does that. Some people are just bad. Some people do horrible things and you did not bring it to you. So this is not about forgiving them. If you want to do that, that's fine. It's not about forgiving them. It's about accepting that they were not in a position to do just the bare minimum of what needed to be done. They just couldn't have done it. And now you are going to do that for yourself. It's not about we understand, you can understand to a certain degree. It's not about forgiving. It's not about whatever. That's up to you. That's not what we're advising you to do. We don't have any qualms over that. We don't have any liberty. We don't have any say over whether you you excuse them or it's okay with you or you forgive them. That's up to you. But we're not saying that it wasn't horrible for some of you what you went through. We're just saying that there's no way that they could have given it to you. There could have been other things involved, third parties involved, addiction, whatever. It could have been other things. They weren't able to give you what you needed, and that was horrible, and that's just pure fact. What you do with that is up to you, but you're able this week to really pull in on a really significant level all the healing that you've done, everything that you've done to work through all of these other people coming into your life. And again, these people might be echoes. This stuff might be echoes. They may no longer be in your life, but either way, it's a powerful time for you to affirm that I don't need any more validation. I'm accepting myself. I'm brilliant. I'm powerful. I don't need to give away my energy or anything from me to be able to get anything back. You either see me the way that I am or you F off. That's it. And it really is going to be that strong for you. It really is going to be rooted into the ground, terribly strong, pulling back that energy. If there's any power that you need to pull back from any of these relationships, even if you put up those boundaries and those people are but an echo in your life, they're not in your life anymore, do some meditations if you feel called to. Listen to your intuition always. Set down into your heart space and let your heart tell you what is going on. Sometimes the practical mind is just wired for survival. It doesn't always lead you in the right path, but if you step right back down into your heart space, it'll let you know if you need to go in and do some meditation and pull in aspects of your energy that's still with those people. You can pull them back. Absolutely. So, by putting down your boundaries and saying no and cleaning up your life, obviously a certain amount of that power would have come back, but there might be slivers that you need to pull back. This is about getting back into your own sense of power, not needing anything from the external anymore. This is what you've been leading up to. So absolutely feel free to use this beautiful full moon coming in as a sort of an agency of power to pull it all back to you. As we suggested, I believe at Paul 2, if you want to do any kind of ritual in and around the full moon, you can do it a couple of days before. It would be impossible now because this is going up the day before, but you can do it on the full moon. Sometimes is really, really intense, but you've got to do whatever feels good to you. But even a couple of days afterwards, still working with the full moon energy because it's a super moon, but it's divvied up. It's integrated a little bit more, and you can really access that full moon energy. A ritual to again celebrate you. This came up in pile 2. Celebrate you, everything that you've been through, every time you put your foot down, every time you reclaimed your power. And again, if you wanted to do a ritual for claiming any aspect, any shards of yourself that may be with the original viewpoint or the original point of the people that could not see you the way that you deserved to be seen originally, because some of your energy might be in the original source, not in the echoes or the mirrors of the people that you were trying to heal from the original source. So again, you can do any kind of ritual that you want to pull back any shards of yourself, a power ritual, or just get out there and celebrate yourself in any way that you deem fit. Let's get you one of these here. This just fell out, but I kind of, yeah. Let's see what we have here for you. A very powerful week though, culminating in a lot of energy that you've already put into yourself. And again, if any of this energy comes up, the sort of betrayal energy, it's echoes. It's just an echo because it just wants to draw attention for you pulling in the last shards of your power. Now, you may not need to do that. You may have done energy work where you've pulled in your power. That's totally fine. If that's happening, then don't waste your time doing it. Just spend the week celebrating you and securing your power into the earth. Again, first, second, and third chakra. We talked about this in Pal 2. Also, securing and clearing out first, second, and third chakra, so you can connect yourself fully and completely and reclaim your life on your own terms. And you can reclaim your human body, your human life back into the ground, back into nature, by having a firm foundation with the first chakra here. That's something that you can do in a very powerful way on new terms this week. Very powerful week of so we have conception here. The frequency of conception invites us to bring our consciousness to our origin, the place where everything in creation begins. It helps us to remember the infinite potential and possibilities of this space and what we can manifest through our own focused awareness and intention. Absolutely. So again, going back to the original point, and from there healing all of that, sending light and acceptance to all of that, so we can have this very firm understanding of who we are and the beauty and gorgeousness and the power that we hold, that we can go in any direction. Absolutely. And of course, focused awareness and focused awareness, and not only that, a new sense of connection is available to you now, not just to yourself, but to your future and to the universe, to the earth, to your life. And new members of soul family coming in. They may even start coming in next week, but a brand new connection that you have with yourself coming in, new power, for brand new beginnings, but they're very much based on what you've already been through and what you've already been working on. So it's almost like everything that you've been working on can now come to fruition, and now you can claim that power. Please celebrate yourself this week in any way that you want to. Celebrate the beauty of who you are, and the gorgeousness of this is that you no longer have to see any aspect of yourself through anybody else's version of you. This is all just you coming back to you. This is how you see yourself. Again, not expecting anything from anyone else, but at the same time being open to this unwavering level of connection that's going to be available to you now. And with that comes this new level of support that you absolutely deserve, that you've absolutely been craving and looking for, sometimes in the wrong people. But that's totally fine, considering what, the past that you've had. Totally understandable. So you get to have that now. When they come out like this, they pop out. Sometimes I just put them back in the pack because it's not necessarily the card that's meant for you. But this one just pop out. Okay. So we've got protection, strong protective magic for the family and the home. While you're going through this too, know that you are loved. Know that you're not doing this work alone. And also we want to be very clear. The work that you've done has gone all the way back and excavated so much. I mean, you've been so, not just brave, but the courage that you've needed to go back and really work on all of this stuff. A lot of people would not have the courage to do this. They really wouldn't. And there's a reason for that. And there's no judgment on anyone who doesn't do this work. It's just like, in the spiritual community, it's a given that, we're going to go through this and it's going to be all love and light. And even with the spiritual community, people don't realize there's different levels of how deep people go. And you've gone really deep you want no stone unturned, so you can be the most authentic person that you can be. And we want you to know that at every level, even if you've not felt it, there's been protection for you. And if you look back at times when you're like, I can't believe I did that, and you look back into the energy of your life as, I don't know how I survived that. There's been protection for you. You have very strong angels, very strong guides that have stepped in for you, and you've never been alone through them. So feel free to go in this week. Feel free to really rely on them this week and just work in that level of, letting people in, that level of courage, of connection. Let's do one more for you. I'm feeling one more for the making magic for you here, pile 3. Again, integration, full integration, absolute power and beauty. breaking bad habits, self-acceptance, yeah, excellent mental health, and letting go of vices. Absolutely. I knew we were supposed to pick one more. So it's self-acceptance. Again, I don't need anything from the external. But again, it's not like I don't need anything from anyone. It's not that. That's something that you've done before too. You've gone to the other extreme. I don't need anything. I've got this. I'm my own source. That's totally fine. That's the way that you needed to do it. So again, this is about the balance, but this is about self-acceptance. This beautiful, I'm powerful. I don't need acceptance from anybody else. I've got this. And with that, this new profound graciousness that comes in for you. You have this peaceful, we want you to get back that peaceful element, and that peaceful element of just knowing that everything will be okay. And coming back into that and letting go of vices. I mean, anything that you needed to do, of course, to survive, or whatever it is that you needed to do, just you've worked on that anyway. So that's not really coming up right now, but it's really about getting back into that balance of that real peaceful knowing, that sort of silence instead of the voices going on. Got to work on this, that, this person said that, and just coming back to really understanding where your energy starts and somebody else's ends. And just coming back to knowing who you are based on your own terms, and really validating yourself, and really stepping into that area of real authenticity. Absolutely beautiful. And the most ironic thing that we have here is that all of those people that you had in and around you, that you were hoping to get some kind of acceptance or just be seen by them, and with all the energy that you gave them and everything that you invested in them, they never really saw you, not properly, did they? They saw what they wanted to see, or they saw what they could take. This is a beautiful week for you, because in that powerful moment, you get to see yourself in all of your glory without anybody influence, and you are absolutely glorious, and it's their fault. It's their thing that they couldn't see you, that they were so limited. They saw what they wanted to see. So, if you met these people now, and some of them have just been, recently out of your life. So, it's only been like a couple of months or this, that, it's not like years and years and years, not lifetimes ago. But, if they saw you now and they had a cup of coffee with you, they wouldn't recognize that energy. Now, you are not any different to the person that you were when you were friends with them or when you were in and around them. The difference is that the acceptance that you have for yourself, and that inner knowing, and that logic, and that beauty coming in, that's what they would pick up. That self-confidence, that illumination, that's what they would pick up on now. So the ironic thing is, they would be like, oh my God, you're so different, but you're exactly the same. It's just that they're reading the confidence now. And they're also reading that respect, because they can't come in and just grab that energy whenever they want. You're not a pushover anymore. And in many ways, you weren't a pushover. It's just that you had that open heart. You wanted everybody to be okay. And at the same time, you wanted to be okay. And you genuinely believed that was the way to do it. So this is a reclaiming week for you, pile 3. This is not a small week. Work with the full moon if you want to. Again, getting that energy back into the first, second, third chakra. Go reclaim parts of yourself if you feel like you need it. If not, go celebrate, or do both. Celebrate who you are, knowing that full acceptance for you and who you are, and your authenticity is absolutely available for you now. New connection, new levels of connection, and new soul family who will see you for who you are and will celebrate you exactly who you are. And guess what? They're not going to take anything from you. It'll be give and take. It won't just be take and take and take. This is a brand new beginning for you starting this week. Really heavy transformational energy, and you absolutely deserve it. You've worked so hard, and you have such a beautiful heart. So we're only sending you love and light and so much beauty for this week. You've spent so much time getting here. So this is an incredible time. Please enjoy your week. Please enjoy your new power coming in. We're sending you so much love and light. And until we meet again, stay safe and sane, pile 3. Bye-bye.